Hello, everybody. Today I'll be doing some reading exercises without just plain reading. The power of sound, speech, and consciousness. Executive summary. This briefing document synthesizes a comprehensive analysis of the profound relationship between sound, speech, consciousness, and the structure of reality. The source materials present a multifaceted view integrating ancient Sanatan wisdom, modern scientific inquiry, and esoteric interpretations of language. The core conclusion is that words are not merely tools for communication but are powerful vibrational forces that program biological systems, shape perceptions, and actively create personal and collective reality. Three central themes emerge. Speech is a manifestation of consciousness. Sanatan philosophy delineates four distinct levels of speech: Vani, tracing its origin from Paravani, the silent transcendental state of pure consciousness, through the visionary stage of Pashyanti and the mental stage of Madhyama to its final expression is articulated sound by Khadi. This model posits that the true power of a word resides not in its definition but in the purity and depth of the conscious state from which it originates. Language is a programming system. Multiple sources present the concept of spelling as a literal act of spell casting. This perspective argues that language was engineered with hidden commands that influence the subconscious mind, nervous system, and biological functions. Etymological breakdowns of common words like mortgage, debt, pledge, and government mind control are used to illustrate hidden architecture. Modern concepts like linguistic neuroscience and reticular activating system RAS and mirror neurons provide a scientific framework for how repeated linguistic patterns program an individual's perception and reality. The science and the metaphysics of vibration, the fundamental principle underpinning all analysis is that sound is vibration and vibration is the foundational energy of creation. This is supported by scientific examples such as sematics, visible patterns created by sound. Dr. Masaru Emoto's research on water crystals and the HeartMath Institute's findings on the heart's electromagnetic field. Metaphysically, this connects to concepts like Sabda Brahman, sound is Brahman, and the cosmic sound of Om, positioning sound as the primary creative force of the universe. Ultimately, ultimately, the sources converge on a single actionable insight: mastering one's reality requires mastering one's language. This is achieved through conscious, intentional speech, Bak Shuddhi, the cultivation of inner silence, Mauna, and the application of practical techniques such as mantra, affirmations, and linguistic programming to cleanse internal code and align one's vibrational output with desired outcomes. The four levels of speech, Vani, a journey from silence to sound, across multiple sources rooted across multiple sources rooted in Sanatan philosophy. Speech is not seen as a simple mechanical act, but is a profound creative process, the very moment of consciousness, Chetna ki gati. Ancient rishis did not just speak the Bani, they saw it, experiencing its entire formation within their consciousness. This journey from a silent, unmanifest state to an articulated word is detailed through a four-layer model. The Sanatan tradition has a fundamental idea that a word is not created, it is manifested. The journey of speech is not outward, but inward, from the gross word to its subtle source. Transcendental, para, the supreme transcendental source of all sound, residing in pure, undivided consciousness, avibhajit chetna. It is the state of absolute silence, stillness, and potential, compared to a seed containing an entire tree of a deep silent ocean or a deep silent ocean, non vibrational, unmanifest, beyond thought and language, the state of pure being or knowledge without a knower, associated with the Siva Tattva principle of absolute stillness, visionary, Pashyanti, the seeing speech, the first stair of the first steer of creation, where the unmanifest idea from Para takes the form of a non-verbal vision, image, symbol, or holistic feeling. It is pre-linguistic and free-mental, visual, symbolic, universal. The feeling of love or anger is the same across all languages at this level. The aha moment of insight for scientists or the flash of inspiration for artists occurs here. The intellect, buddhi, plays a key role. Mental, madhyama, the intermediate speech. This is the realm of mind, manas, where the vision from pashanti is structured into thoughts and unspoken words. It is our internal dialogue and mental chatter, internal, sequential, linguistic, but unvoiced. This is the mental. This is the mental battlefield, Mansik Karma Bhumi, where ego, ahamkara, judgment, and planning arise. The bridge between inner feeling and outer expression, articulated by Kari, the gross or articulated speech, the final physical manifestation of sound produced by the vocal cords, tongue, and lips. This is the speech we hear and speak in the external world, audible, physical, specific to a language, the most external and tangible layer, but it is only the tip of the iceberg. Its quality and impact are entirely dependent on the purity of the preceding three stages. The process of manifestation. The four levels are not a linear temporal sequence but a coexisting dimensions of consciousness. Para is externally present and the other three levels rise and fall within it. The waves on the surface of an ocean. The ocean, para, remains regardless of the waves. Pashyanti Madhyama Bhaikari. Spiritual application sadhana. For a spiritual practitioner, the journey is reversed, a process of moving from the gross to the subtle. This is described this is described as taking the word back home. Japa, mantra repetition, begins at the Vaikari level, audible chanting. As practice deepens, it moves to Madhyama, mental repetition. With further maturity, the practitioner becomes an observer, drasta, of the mantra, which repeats automatically the Pashanti state. Ultimately, the mantra merges into the silent source, para, silence, mona. The practice of external silence forces awareness of the internal noise of Madhyama, which is the first step towards calming calming it. The sources emphasize the revolutionary idea. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the presence of Paravani. It is not an emptiness, but a state of plenitude and pure consciousness. Linguistic programming, words as spells. A significant portion of the source material argues that modern language is a form of control, a linguistic prison where words function as spells to program human behavior and perception. This view is supported by etymological analysis and concepts from neuroscience. Every word we say is a magic spell. The very act of spelling a word is not merely a mundane exercise in communication, but a potent invocation of magical forces. Etymological evidence. The argument is made that the origins of keywords reveal their true, often hidden function. Spelling, directly linked to casting spells. Grammar, derived from the French grammaire or grimoire, a book of magic spells or instructions to summon entities. Entities. Cursive shares a root with curse, the act of binding energy. Mortgage from mort, death, and gaze, pledge, literally a death pledge. Government from govern to control, and manned, the mind, meaning mind control. Understand, to stand under, implying a position of submission to a concept or authority. Person from the Latin persona, the mask worn by actors, suggesting the legal person is a fictional entity, not the true conscious being. The neurological mechanism, this spell casting is not presented as supernatural but as a function of how the brain processes language. Reticular activating system, RAS. This neural filter at the base of the brainstem determines which of the millions of bits of sensory information the conscious mind notices. The RAS is programmed by the words and language patterns one repeats most frequently. Saying I never have enough money literally filters reality to show evidence of scarcity and high opportunities of abundance. Neuroplasticity. The brain physically restructures itself based on repeated thoughts and words. Repetitive self talk like I am not good enough carves the belief into one's neural architecture, hardwiring inadequacy into the operating system. Mirror neurons. These neurons fire identically whether a person performs an action or watches watches someone else perform it. When someone speaks, the listener's brain doesn't just hear the words, it embodies them, simulating the speaker's reality. This explains why toxic people are actually toxic. Their words infect the listener's neural architecture, the motor cortex. The brain does not distinguish between describing an action and preparing to perform it. Saying I can't instruct, instructs the motor cortex to inhibit the neural pathways required for that action. The science of sound and vibration. The assertion that words shape reality is grounded in the principle that all of existence is vibration. This is supported by various scientific and pseudoscientific examples presented across the sources, key concepts, and evidence. Semiotics, the study of visible sound. Experiments show that sound waves create precise and often complex geometric patterns in materials like sand or water. This is presented as evidence that sound organizes matter. Dr. Masaru Emoto's water experiments, research purporting, purporting to show that human consciousness directed through spoken or written words can, can affect the molecular structure of water. Water exposed to positive words, love, gratitude, is said to form beautiful symmetrical crystals, while water exposed to negative words, hate, forms chaotic, fragmented structures. Given that the human body is approximately 60 to 70% water, the implication is that our words are constantly restructuring our own biology. The power of chanting. Oh, Om. The Om is described as the cosmic intelligent vibration, the sound of creation. Research on chanting is cited using sound spectrum analysis and brain imaging. Studies allegedly show that novices have irregular sound wave patterns when chanting, while regular practitioners develop smooth, harmonic patterns indicating calmer minds and a greater connection between breath and mind. The ohms level is set to vibrate 8432 Hz, a frequency within the human hearing range. HeartMath Institute research. This research is cited to show that the human heart generates a powerful electromagnetic field that extends 8 to 15 feet beyond the body. When a person speaks positive affirmations with genuine emotional intent, this field becomes more coherent and organized. This coherent field is detectable by and can influence the nervous system of other people. Okay, guys, that's it for today's exercise. See you again tomorrow.